There's an undeniable magic all over the Disney parks that makes them irresistible to millions of visitors worldwide. But hold on to your Mickey ears and your wallet because there is a reality check coming your way. Not everything sold within the enchanted walls of the Disney parks is worth your money. In this episode, we're going to talk about 20 things you should never buy at the Disney parks.
Hi, I'm Melissa with Mix in Some Magic. I'm a Disney planning expert and I'm here to mix a little magic into your day. Each week I share Disney vacation planning tips, park strategies, and a little bit of Disney history sprinkled in. Of course, I like to include lots of Disney magic. Join me, let's mix in some magic.
Hello and welcome. I'm so happy that you're here. I just got back from a super long trip to Disney World. I mean, I guess it wasn't super long. I was gone for a week, which is longer than I'm usually gone for Disney trips, so it felt like a long time to be away from my family. It was such a great time. I got so much great content to use on my website and on Instagram and things for Walt Disney World and Universal Studios Orlando. It was just a really great time. I did have a little bit of trouble getting to Orlando. My flight was scheduled to leave, I think at about 11 in the afternoon. And then I got 11 in the morning. Then I got an email saying it's actually going to be at 1 o'clock. And I was like, okay. So showed up at around, before 1. Got another email saying actually it's going to leave at 4. Then I got another message saying, actually, we're canceling this flight. This was on Saturday. The airline was like, we can reschedule you for Wednesday. Would that work? I was like, no, it does not work. So I had to scramble and find a new airline to get me to Orlando. And so I ended up arriving a day later than I anticipated, but it was fine. It all worked out. I got there. There was a bunch of flights that were canceled due to weather. And I mean, what are you going to do? That stuff happens. So I did end up making it. Thank goodness. And I had such a great time. So I'm going to have a couple of podcast episodes coming in the near future talking about Walt Disney World and tips, tricks, helpful information, because I know there's a lot of you who are planning Walt Disney World vacation. And Disney World is just a whole different ballgame than Disneyland. So we're going to talk about some of the differences, especially with using Genie Plus in a future episode, because Genie Plus does not work in the same way at Walt Disney World as it does at Disneyland. So that'll be coming soon. While I was there, I also got to do an after hours party at Disney World, which was much different than the after hours parties at Disneyland. So I'll talk about that too. And I got to go on 2 rides I have never been on before. I got to ride Tron, which is in Magic Kingdom. And I also got to ride Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind. I believe that's what it's called. Over in Epcot. And both were so awesome. Oh, we could really use a couple of new rides like that over in Disneyland. They could really jazz up Tomorrowland if we had Tron. That would be awesome. One can dream, right? And then I also got to go to Universal Orlando, which is so fun. It's a whole different vibe than any of the Disney parks, and it has some really, really big, exciting rides that you don't find at Disneyland. I mean, Tron is pretty exciting, but they have even bigger roller coasters, and they have the whole Wizarding World of Harry Potter, which is absolutely amazing. And while I was there with some friends, and we did a little challenge where we split up and tried 2 different strategies. So at Universal, then they have what's called an Express Pass. It's basically like Genie Plus. It works a little differently. So with the Express Pass that we purchased, then we could get to the front of the line, essentially. You got to go in the Express Pass line, which is very, very short, for all of the attractions one time, like every single attraction except for the Hagrid's motorbike. I don't know the official name. The Hagrid's ride. So I got the express pass and my friend did not purchase the express pass. And then we went throughout our day just to see what the difference was. It was a very busy day, spring break on a Friday. So it was a busy day in the park. And we just got to kind of like compare if the cost of express pass is worth the money. So we're going to have a whole podcast episode about that coming out soon as well. But that's not why we're here today. We are here today to talk about 20 things you should never buy at the Disney parks. These things are kind of a waste of money, in my opinion. So I'm going to list them all out for you. Plus, if you are a Patreon member, I have a couple of bonus honorable mention ones for you that I'm going to throw in at the end. So make sure you listen until the end so you can get that content as well. If you're not a Patreon member, thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting Mix and Some Magic. You get to listen to ads, which I know are incredibly annoying. I hate them, but I have to pay for the podcast. It can't keep coming out of my pocket. So ads are just a necessary evil. So if you are listening to the ad-supported version, thank you. If you are a Patreon member and you're getting early release episodes and ad-free episodes along with Disney Book Club every month, thank you, thank you. I appreciate you so much as well. Okay, let's take a quick break, and when we come back, let's talk about 20 things you should never buy at the Disney parks. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to Mix and Some Magic. Ads are a pain in the butt. I really don't like them, but unfortunately, they are a necessary evil when you run a podcast. If you're listening to the ad and affiliate supported version of Mix and Some Magic, thank you. Your support helps keep Mix and Some Magic running. If you're listening to the ad-free version on Patreon, thank you as well. Your monthly support is so appreciated and helps me with equipment costs, editing software, research materials for the show, and more. If you're interested in becoming a Patreon supporter, I'll put a link in the show notes. There's several membership options with the lowest being $5 a month. All Patreon supporters are invited to attend our monthly Disney Book Club as well. So come and join us. All right, that's enough of that. Let's get back to the episode. Before we dive into today's episode, I wanted to give a shout out to our amazing sponsor, Audible. I am now an Audible affiliate and I am so excited about it. I've been using Audible for years, and I am really happy to have this chance to team up with a brand that I have loved and used for quite some time. If you love the magic of storytelling, but find it hard to make time for reading, Audible is your perfect solution. With Audible, you can listen to a huge selection of audiobooks, podcasts, and more, all from the convenience of your favorite device. Whether you're into thrilling mysteries, self-help, or epic fantasy, Audible has something for everyone because they have thousands of titles available. As an Audible member, you can choose one title a month to keep from their entire catalog, including the latest bestsellers and new releases. But that's not all. Members also get full access to a growing selection of included audiobooks, Audible originals, and podcasts. You can download or stream included titles all you want. Most of our Disney Book Club selections are available on Audible, including this month's title. And here's the best part. I've teamed up with Audible to offer you an exclusive deal. By using my special link, you can get a free 30-day trial of Audible. That's right, 30 days of stories, knowledge, and entertainment absolutely free. If you love podcasts, and you must because you're here, I know you'll love Audible. Just visit www.audibletrial.com/mixandSomeMagic to start your free trial today. That's www.audibletrial.com/mixandSomeMagic. I'll also include a link for you in the show notes. It's a fantastic way to discover the joy of audiobooks and to support my podcast at the same time. Happy listening, and thanks to Audible for making today's episode possible. Welcome back. Before we get going, couple of things. This list is in no order at all. It's just how they popped into my brain. So it's not like number 20 is more important than number 1. These are just things that came into my mind when I was trying to think of a bunch of things that I think are a waste of money at the Disney parks. Another thing I want to mention, if I happen to say something that you absolutely love and it's like your very favorite thing, that's okay. If you love it and it's important to you and it sparks joy in you and it's something that you love purchasing, then continue to purchase it. By all means, continue to purchase it. These are just things that I personally have found to not be worth my money. But if there's something on this list that you absolutely love and believe is worth your money, then please purchase it and be happy. I'm not trying to offend people here and tell you that you can't purchase these items in the park. These are just items that I find to be too expensive or to be not worthwhile. And I have some alternatives for most of them so that you can save money and be a savvy shopper. Okay, with that, let's jump into number 1, character merchandise. I know we all love the character merchandise, the shirts with Mickey Mouse, the plushies. I mean, really, there's a million things that have Disney characters on them all over the Disney parks. But the kicker is they're all so expensive. You're not just paying in the parks for character merchandise, you're also paying for kind of like the experience. Everything you purchase in the park, you're paying extra for because of the experience and the nostalgia and the memories you're creating being in that Disney shop. Anytime you step foot in a Disney shop, you are going to be paying more for that item than you would pay for it other places. I think we all know that. Sometimes it's worth it, sometimes it's not. But you can get some amazing character merchandise for less money just about everywhere else. Target, Walmart, Costco, Sam's Club, Amazon. There's tons of local shops all around the Disney parks that carry Disney character merchandise that are all going to be much less expensive. So if that's something that you know you're going to want, like you want all your kids in matching Mickey Mouse shirts, maybe instead of purchasing them there in the parks, hop on Amazon and check out what they have to offer and buy them in advance so that you can save money. Now, when my kids were little, I would buy all of our souvenirs in advance. Not all of them. We always gave them a little bit of money that they could spend on whatever they wanted, but I would always purchase little things from Amazon. That's not true. That's a lie. Amazon didn't even exist when my kids were little. But from Walmart and the dollar store and little places like that, I would find things and I would purchase them. And then I would give them to my kids throughout the trip. So every morning when they woke up, then I would have a little present for them to open, and it would be like a shirt for them to wear that day, or it would be like some other thing that they could use at the park, or a lot of times it would be like a coloring book for them to use while I was trying to get everything ready for us to leave the hotel that morning. Different things like that. So we did a lot of souvenir purchasing before our trips, and it saved a lot of money. Number 2, ponchos and rain gear. It's not very magical when you are stuck in a torrential downpour at one of the Disney parks. And it happens to people all the time. Of course, Disney has ponchos and umbrellas, things you can use. And if you are in a desperate situation, what are you going to do? You're going to buy the poncho, you're going to buy the umbrella because you've already paid, how much money to be in the parks. You're going to, of course, shell out the extra so you can have your rain gear. But, of course, you can get your rain gear much cheaper everywhere else in the world if you buy it in advance. So if you happen to be visiting during a rainy season, keep an eye on the weather. Even if you're not visiting during a rainy season, keep an eye on the weather so that you can buy things in advance and be prepared. If you see rain in the forecast, you know you're going to need things like ponchos and umbrellas and shoe covers and rain suits, things like that. So make sure you're prepared so you don't get stuck in a situation where you have to purchase expensive rain gear in the park. Number 3 is glow-in-the-dark merchandise. Now, obviously, the glow-in-the-dark merchandise is unbelievably cool. Like, so cool. The glow-in-the-dark balloons. I remember when I was a kid, they had this glow-in-the-dark red rose, like a Beauty and the Beast red rose, and it would light up. And oh my gosh, I wanted that so, so badly. Never got it. Never did. Probably because my parents did not want to shell out whatever it cost for this glow-in-the-dark rose. But glow-in-the-dark things at the parks look really, really cool. When you get them home, you're never going to use them. What was I going to do at home with that glow-in-the-dark rose? Nothing. Nothing. It would have ended up at the bottom of my toy box and I never would have used it again. I only would have used it that one night at the park. So I say skip the glow-in-the-dark merchandise. If you think your kids are going to want something like that, purchase it beforehand. I like to bring little glow sticks and things like that I can buy at the dollar store, or they have some really cool things on Amazon that you can buy in advance and just pull them out for your kids when it gets dark. Then they have their glow-in-the-dark merchandise and they're happy. Another thing I found on Amazon that I love bringing to the parks is these little glow ice cubes. They're like plastic, but they're square shaped like ice cubes. And you can buy a pack of them for not very expensive. But Disney sells these glow-in-the-dark cubes in a lot of their specialty drinks, like at the Blue Bayou and at different stands, and they cost a ton of money. I like to bring them with me, and then I just pop them in my kids' drink sometimes, and they love them. And then I fish them out and put them back in my Ziploc bag, and we use them again later. So we have had a lot of fun with the glow-in-the-dark ice cubes. So definitely check those out. Number 4 is autograph books. These little notebooks are so cute, and we all get the thrill of having the characters sign our book. And did you know they all have different signatures? And some of them have different things that go along with them, like Mickey Mouse has this cute little swirl that he puts over the I in his name. Every character has something that's a little bit different with their name, and they're very, very cute. But if you know you're going to want autographs from characters, don't wait and buy an autograph book at the parks because you're going to pay a ton of money. Buy your autograph book in advance, or better yet, make your own, save a bunch of money. That's what we did when my kids were little. We got some notebooks and I bought a bunch of stickers and they just stickered them up. And then we went to the park and we had characters sign them, and it was absolutely perfect because guess how many times my kids have looked at their character autograph books in the last 10 years since they've done it. Zero times have they looked at it or even cared or even remembered that we did that. So I wouldn't put a lot of money into the autograph books. If it's something that you're like, oh, we really, really want to do this, then purchase an autograph book on Amazon. They have Disney autograph books so much cheaper than in the parks. I also actually created some little printable pages that are super cute for autograph books. So I'm going to put a link to those in the show notes. You can go and click on those, print them out, and they're just like an extra step in making your own autograph book in an easier way, if that makes sense. All right, what was that number? Number 4. Okay, we're going on to number 5, costumes. Kids love to wear costumes at the Disney park, and I fully support this. I think it's wonderful. I think it's so fun. I mean, does it get any cuter than meeting the princesses or your favorite superhero when you're dressed like them? It does not. One of my very, very favorite pictures I have of my youngest daughter was when she was wearing a Cinderella dress and she met Cinderella, and she was about 3 years old, and she just couldn't believe her luck. Meeting Cinderella in her Cinderella dress. Oh, the cutest picture, cutest memory. I just love it when kids get to wear their costumes to the park. But buying a costume in the park is so much money. Now, the costumes they sell in the park are high quality. They're made from really great materials. They're beautiful. Have you seen some of those princess dresses? They're absolutely gorgeous, but they are absolutely expensive. So, if you know your kid is going to enjoy something like that, maybe just bring a costume from home. That's what we always did with my girls. We just bought a costume from home. We brought a costume from home because we had bunches of them laying around, And was it a pain to carry them around in my backpack? Yes. But stuffing an old costume that we brought from home into my backpack was a lot better than carrying around and stuffing a dress that cost us hundreds of dollars from the Disney parks, trying to stuff that into my backpack. You see what I'm saying? If you want to buy a costume before you go, they have costumes all over the place. Walmart, Target, Amazon, all kinds of great costumes that are a fraction of the price. So if that's something your kid is into, I would definitely go with one of those alternatives. Number 6 is breakfast in the park. Let's talk about the most important meal of the day, which is obviously breakfast. You're going to need to eat breakfast. I'm not saying don't eat breakfast, but here's the thing. Is eating breakfast in the park worth the money? You're going to be paying a lot more money to eat breakfast in the park than you would if you brought breakfast with you and ate it at your hotel, or if your hotel had a free breakfast, then you're obviously going to pay $0. Plus, there is also a time cost associated with eating breakfast in the parks. Say you show up to Disneyland or Disney World, you're ready to go, but everyone's starving. So the first thing you do, maybe you hit one ride and then you're like, shoot, we got to feed these kids. Let's find breakfast. So you find breakfast, everybody eats. That's going to take you probably a solid 45 minutes. Well, those 45 minutes in the morning are so, so valuable because that's when the parks have the very lowest crowds. So while you're busy cutting up Mickey pancakes into bite-sized pieces for your toddler, everybody else is walking on the rides with 0 wait. So you got to think about not only the financial cost, but the time cost as well. I always suggest eating breakfast before you get to the parks. Make sure you either book a hotel with a free breakfast or bring breakfast from home, or there's grocery services that will deliver things to your hotel. You can have things like Go-Gurts and granola bars and whatever it is. It doesn't really matter what you eat for breakfast, just eat something. When our kids were little, if we weren't staying at a hotel with a free breakfast, I found it to be really, really helpful to just bring breakfast with us. Where we're waiting in line in the morning to get into the park or to get through security, whatever it was, I hand them a granola bar, I hand them a Go-Gurt, I hand them a string cheese, applesauce. They can eat it while we are waiting, keeps them busy because they are busy doing something in line, and they're also getting breakfast so we don't have to stop and pay extra money for breakfast, but also waste time eating breakfast first thing in the morning when the lines are the lowest. Number 7 is bottled water. Now, obviously, staying hydrated is so important, especially on a hot day. And when you're walking around Florida or California, especially in those hot months, you're going to need a lot of water. But purchasing bottled water in the parks is crazy expensive. And those costs add up quickly. If you're trying to actually stay hydrated, how many bottles of water are you going to need during a day? A lot. And they are, I think, over $5 a piece. So for my family of 6, if I'm trying to buy water for my family during the entire day, it's mind-blowing what that would cost. So expensive. Here's some alternatives. Consider bringing a reusable water bottle into the parks. Even if you just bring your own plastic water bottle into the parks, that's what we usually do, and then we refill them. They have water bottle refilling stations, and they have drinking fountains. They have places you can refill them. So we just bring a reusable or a plastic water bottle and just refill it so that we can stay hydrated. There's also free cups of ice water at every single quick service restaurant at the Disney resorts. So you can walk up to any quick service restaurant window and say, "Can I have water?" They're going to have it ready to go. Usually if it's hot, they have like stacks of water because people are coming and asking constantly. And Disney doesn't want you to be sick and passing out and falling apart. So they want you to stay hydrated. So they offer free ice water. You can just ask them, they'll hand it to you. I like to take this water and use it to refill my water bottle. So there you go. Do not buy water at the Disney parks. Bring it with you or get free water, but don't pay that kind of money. Number 8 is snacks. It's time to talk about one of my favorite things. Whether you're looking for something salty or sweet, Disney has got you covered with amazing treats and snacks, but are they worth the price. There's no denying that I love a churro and a Dole Whip and a cream cheese pretzel. I love all those things, but they are expensive and those costs can add up. Now, I'm not saying don't buy any snacks. Like, of course, treat yourself, get some snacks while you're at the Disney parks, but consider bringing your own snacks as well to kind of like balance that out. I always have a protein bar with me. I always bring beef jerky with me. Sometimes I bring other snacks to the park. Like I am obsessed right now with those little tiny chewy sweet tarts. I just, as I'm saying this, remembered that I have some in my backpack from my last trip that I'd forgotten about. I'm going to go get them as soon as I'm done recording. But they are my favorite. I like to keep a little baggie of those in my backpack. So if I am feeling a little munchy or have a sweet tooth, I can pull those out. It'll save you a bundle, especially if you have lots of people that you were trying to give snacks to. Number 9 is a fuel rod charger. Now, let's talk about this. Have you heard about fuel rods? They are pretty awesome. So they are a charger that you can buy in the parks. I think they're around $30. They have attachments so that no matter what kind of device you're trying to charge, it's going to charge it up. And then when it drains, when the battery is gone, you can go and exchange it at any of the fuel rod machines for a fully charged charger. Does that sound right? Yes. Sounds right. Fully charged charger. Now, everybody has hyped these up. Everyone's like, the fuel rod, you don't have to bring a portable charger with you anymore. You just buy a fuel rod. Well, here's the thing. Buying a fuel rod is kind of expensive. Like I said, I think they're around $30. You're going to need a charger of some kind because your phone, from using the Disney app, taking pictures, videos, mobile ordering, using Genie Plus, it's going to drain your battery. So I do put my phone on low power mode as soon as I enter the parks. That helps save battery, but you're going to need to charge your phone. So I always bring a portable charger from home, and it works really, really well. Now, if you are super into the idea of a fuel rod, then buy one before you get to the parks. You can get them on Amazon. I think they are like $20. You're going to save money. Then you'll have it ready to go, and then you can exchange them for free. At the Disney parks, you can exchange fuel rods for free, which is pretty great. I have found that fuel rods will not charge my phone 100% before the battery is drained in the charger. So keep that in mind. That's why I like to just have my charger ready to go. I have found myself in a situation a time or two where my charger has broken or has drained really quickly, and I've had to purchase one. So now I have one as a backup, but I just recommend bringing one from home. Number 10 is sunscreen. Sunscreen isn't just a suggestion. This is an absolute must-have for anyone spending a day in the park. Make sure you get your part. That's what I've been trying to focus on lately, like your part on your hair. I forget it all the time, and lately I've been trying to make sure I spray sunscreen in my part. You can get skin cancer in your part too, you know. So anyway, don't forget your part. But you can buy sunscreen in the parks. Of course, Disney doesn't want you to get sunburned. They're going to have some for sale, but it is going to cost you a lot more than if you brought your own sunscreen from home. Plus, they don't have a lot of choices to choose from. I prefer a mineral-based sunscreen. I have a super fair skin, and a mineral-based sunscreen protects my skin way better than the chemical sunscreens, which is the kind that they sell in the park. So I, of course, prefer to bring my own if at all possible. Now, if you forget to bring your own or you run out, you're just going to have to buy it from Disney because you can't not have sunscreen. But if you can bring it with you or like purchase it beforehand, you're going to save a lot of money. Number 11 is balloons. Now, balloons are adorable. I mean, walking down Main Street and seeing the cast members holding that giant bunch of balloons, that's pure magic. Pure magic right there. They're amazing. I mean, it puts a smile on the face of every single person. But is this splurge worth it to you? I submit that it is not. Now, I have been hit in the face so many times by people with balloons tied to their strollers. The balloon's like streaming out behind them. They don't know what the balloon is doing. It's hitting people in the face. That's what it's doing. What are you going to do with it when you get it back to your hotel? It's just going to be annoying. How are you going to get that on the plane? Are you going to take that in your car? The giant balloon? That's not going to go over well. You can't take it on the plane. So it's kind of just a big fat waste of money. Now, again, if a balloon is something you absolutely love, makes you happy, then buy the balloon. But for me, it's never been worth the cost. Number 12 is medication. This is an essential thing for you to bring to the parks. Whether you all of a sudden come down with a headache, which is going to happen, FYI, while you're at the Disney parks, you're going to get a headache. It's just what happens. Or like maybe you have some allergies or you get hit with motion sickness when you usually don't, or you have an upset stomach, whatever it is, Disney has some medicine for you. You have to ask for it. They keep it behind the counter. It's not just on display in the shops, but definitely ask if you need it, because I don't want you to walk around the parks feeling miserable. That would be terrible. But if you can bring it with you, then you're just good to go. If you just have Advil with you or whatever you think might come up, just bring that with you. And then you won't have to worry about trying to find the medication, because not all shops carry medication. They might send you somewhere else, and then you're running into a time issue as well while you have a headache. No fun. Just bring the medicine that you think you might need. Number 13 is probably going to be controversial. A souvenir popcorn bucket. I mean, every few months, Disney comes out with these souvenir popcorn buckets and people go crazy for them. They love them so much. If you're one of those people, I'm so happy for you. I'm happy that you found something that you love. Keep buying the popcorn buckets. But for me, I just can't. I can't get excited about them. They're adorable. Of course, I can't deny that. Have I bought one before? Yes. And I don't regret it, because I got, actually it's super cute. I bought it knowing that I could repurpose it. I bought this cute cauldron that lights up. It's like the evil queen from Snow White's cauldron. And I bought it knowing that I would use it as a Halloween decoration. So every Halloween, pull it out, and it makes me so happy. Now, there have been a popcorn bucket or two that I've been tempted by, but I'm always brought back to like, what am I going to do with that when I get home? Am I going to put it in a closet somewhere? Am I going to just hang on to it for a few years while it's taking up space and then throw it away? That's exactly what's going to happen. I'm not going to display it anywhere, or there's no like real function for it when I get home. So popcorn buckets are one of those things that I do not purchase because I don't think they're worth the money for me. Which brings us to number 14, which is the souvenir drink sipper. Have you seen these souvenir drink sippers? They come out with different ones all the time. They're shaped like Disney characters or like a stormtrooper helmet or different things like that. They are pretty cool. But what are you going to do with that after your drink is gone? Do you carry it around in your backpack? That giant thing? I mean, same with the popcorn bucket. Where do you put that? Do you have to rent a locker? What are you going to do with it when you get home? Are you going to walk around your house drinking your drink out of the stormtrooper helmet sipper cup? I mean, if you are, then buy it. 100%. Buy it. But that's something that I would never do. It's just a fancy cup that I would end up throwing away when I got home. So I would never buy a souvenir sipper cup. Number 15 is Disney park tickets. This one is huge because if you go to the Disney website, you're going to pay full price for your Disney park tickets. Here's a game changer. You can go to my travel partners at Getaway Today and you can get a discount on your Disney park tickets and your Disney vacations. They also have great deals on hotels too that you can't find anywhere else. So they're like going to be your new best friend when you're looking for Disney tickets. Now, a lot of people just go to the Disney website. They think that that's the thing to do. They purchase their tickets, but then they're missing out on lower prices because Getaway Today's tickets are always discounted off the gate price. They're also missing out on deals on hotels and on customer service that Disney just can't match because Getaway Today is a small company. So have you ever tried to call Disney for anything? Oh my gosh, talk about needing Advil for your headache. I've tried to call them with just basic questions, just like, oh, I'm going to call and ask this real quick about my trip coming up. And I'll be on hold for like an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours. It's ridiculous. Getaway today, you don't have that problem. You have a question, they answer it for you right away. You can text them, you can send them a DM on Instagram, you can call them, they pick up and they answer your question right away, and it's beautiful. No more wasting time. Plus, if there is a deal that comes out after you've purchased your vacation, then Getaway Today will refund the difference, which is huge. Disney doesn't do that. If they come out with a deal after you've purchased your vacation, it's just too bad for you. And I have saved hundreds of dollars through Getaway Today from deals that have come out after I've purchased my vacation. There's been another deal and they've refunded the difference. So definitely don't lock yourself into Disney prices, because you never know when they're going to come out with a sale or something, and then you're just SOL because you purchased full price through Disney. So definitely Getaway Today is the way to go. I'll put a link to them in the show notes, or you can give them a call at 855-GETAWAY. Make sure you tell them Mix It In Some Magic sent you for the best rates. Let's go on to number 16, hand sanitizer. Hand sanitizer is like so important in our daily lives now. I carry one with me all the time, but at Disney, I like to carry one attached to my back. Oh, when I was at Disney World, though, I have this little hand sanitizer attached to my backpack. Somehow it got stuck in the Big Thunder Mountain cart, and I could not get it out as I'm trying to exit the vehicle. It is stuck. It is not coming out. I couldn't get it out. There's people that are trying to get in because my ride's over. They're trying to get in. I'm trying to get my hand sanitizer unstuck, and I just had to let it go. And it made me kind of sad. I had to just walk away from it. And then I didn't have one on my backpack anymore. So that was kind of a bummer. Anyway, I got a little sidetracked with that story. But Disney has hand sanitizer stations throughout the park, but I have noticed in the last year or so that they're often not full. So you're going to walk by them and be like, oh, hand sanitizer, but then it's empty, which is really kind of frustrating. I feel like they should keep them full if they're going to bother to have them out. There is hand sanitizer you can purchase in the parks, but of course, it's going to be way more expensive. And how annoying to have to go into a shop looking for hand sanitizer. You don't have time for that. You're on vacation. You don't have time for that. Bring your own hand sanitizer to the park. Number 17 is misting fans. So if you're visiting one of the Disney theme parks when it's hot, you're going to see people using these misting fans. They kind of look like a spray bottle that has a fan on the front that spins, that sprays water out at you while it's spinning. Now, the Disney parks can be so hot. And when you are feeling hot, you're going to be tempted by one of these, but they aren't cheap. And then you're going to be stuck lugging around this bottle fan type thing. Where are you going to put that? And you're going to have to keep refilling it with water, which is going to be incredibly annoying. Plus, they don't work very well. In my experience, trust me, I have purchased one before and I was like, this is stupid. It's not working how I want it to work. I don't think they're worth the money. Instead, I suggest buying a little handheld fan. You can find them on Amazon. They're rechargeable. Or cooling towels, which I think are even more helpful than the little portable fans. So one of those would work better than those misting fans. It's going to get you all soaking wet and you're going to have to lug it around. It's not going to work. It's just, they're not worth it. Speaking of cooling towels, that is number 18. Cooling towels are a game changer on a hot day. They're so easy to throw into your backpack. They're reusable. You can wash them when you get home and use them year after year. They're good for everything. I've taken ours on long hikes and we've taken them camping. Like, we've done a lot of things with our cooling towels. They do sell them in the parks. Sometimes you can find them, sometimes you can't. I feel like you can find them more at Disney World than you can at Disneyland, but they're going to cost you a pretty penny in the parks, especially if your whole family is there and you are so hot doing anything to stay cool, and then you end up having to buy a bunch of cooling towels for every member of your family. If you're visiting when it's hot, just buy them at Walmart, buy them at Amazon, buy them before your trip so you have them with you and you don't have to worry about looking for them or paying high prices at the Disney parks. Number 19 is Mickey Mouse ears. This is an iconic and beloved accessory. Everybody at the Disney parks wears them, although I have noticed that more people at Disneyland wear them than they do at Disney World. I'm not sure why. But before you rush off to buy your expensive ears from the Disney park, I want to tell you about a hidden gem, Allie's ears. You're in for a treat when you look at her shop. She has some adorable ears. She has so many different options that are so different from anything you will find in the Disney shops. At the Disney shops, they have a decent selection. They probably have like 20 different ears to choose from, but those are the ears you see like every single person wearing, and Disney ears hurt my head. They give me a headache. They're too tight. They're a little bit heavier than I like to wear, which is probably part of the reason I have the headache. Plus the band kind of squeezes my head. And they are expensive. But Allie's ears, she has a lot of different options, a lot of variety. If you have an idea for something, you can send her a message about it and she can probably create it for you. Plus her ears are going to save you money and they are so comfortable. I can wear her ears all day without getting a headache. So before you waste money on Mickey Mouse ears at the Disney parks, definitely check out Allie's ears and see what you think. They're really cute. I'll put a link to that in the show notes. So that brings me to my last one. Number 20, stroller rentals. Strollers. If you're going to Disney with little kids, you have to have a stroller. That is a necessity. You have to do it, but you don't have to pay full price. Now, I'm not sure about Disney World, but at Disneyland, there's a company called OC Baby Gear that I have used personally, and I really, really love because it's cheaper to rent a stroller through them than it is from Disneyland. Their strollers are comfortable. They're like actual real strollers that have trays that you can put snacks in and a drink, and it has a little under area where you can store things, and they're comfortable. They're not like the hard plastic that the Disney strollers are that your kid is never going to take a nap in because they're not comfortable at all. They're not like that. So they are comfortable. They're awesome strollers. Plus, the best part is they will drop the stroller off at your hotel and pick it up from you when you're done with your trip. You can just leave it at the front desk. They'll pick it up when you're done with it. And it's cheaper than the Disney park. So this is amazing because you could take the stroller back to your hotel. You don't have to unload everything and return it at the end of the night, which is the biggest pain in the world. So I love OC Baby Gear. I'll put a link to them in the show notes so you can check them out. Oh, that was a lot of things. Hopefully it gave you some things to think about. Hopefully it gave you some ideas. Hopefully I didn't offend you too much. If I said your favorite thing like a popcorn bucket, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. But hopefully it gave you some things to think about when you're visiting Disneyland or Disney World about what you might or might not want to spend your money on, because we all get to choose what we purchase, what we don't purchase. But maybe this will just give you a few things to think about. Now, for my Patreon members, let's talk a little bit about a couple things that I didn't put on this list, but they are honorable mentions for sure. First honorable mention is... All right, that is all the time I have for today. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you have a wonderful week. It's starting to warm up at my house. I know I shouldn't start working on my garden because it's just going to get cold again. The rule where I live is you don't plant anything until Mother's Day because we will get more cold, we'll get more frost. And I know that, so I'm not going to, but I really want to. But I am going to get out in the yard this week and clean up some of my bushes, do some trimming, trim up some trees, things like that, so that it is ready to go when spring finally actually decides to really get here for real. Or maybe it is here for real. It's just going to be a cold spring. But anyway, I'm going to be ready when Mother's Day comes so I can get my garden planted. All right. I will be back next week with something new. Thanks so much for listening. We'll talk soon.